Well, I don't know if the walrus in the table is the fact that Melanie Griffith was 17 when he shot this movie.
A walrus on the table.
16 when he shot this movie, 17 when they shot the nude scenes 2 weeks before it came out.
How could they do it? How could they do that?
I have no idea.
74, dude.
Well, yeah, because I looked up on release date, she was 18, or at least, well, we don't know. I mean, we'd have to look at the month of her birthday, I guess, more closely, but.
She did nude scenes for another flick at the same.
Yes, she did.
Really? What? No fooling.
Whoa.
Well, she was much older, but didn't she do the
And how old was what's her name in
body double or body?
That was a couple years later, though.
Sorry.
Yeah, she was much older.
In which film, Jim?
What's the one about the guy in New Orleans taking photos of child pornography?
Pretty Baby?
Pretty Baby.
Oh yeah,
she wasn't in that.
Does Shields get naked in it though?
Brooke Shields was naked as hell in that. She was naked years old.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Was she naked in?
From her mother.
What's that dumb
Penny
one? where the
Agater
kids
and
are-
Walkabout, Jim.
Yeah, true.
Oh yeah, I was going to bring up Walkabout.
Walkabout.
And Walkabout, but
Always
Walkabout
remember
is an
that.
Australian flick.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
what is that? I don't know if that matters that much.
Nicholas
but-
Rogue made in Australia.
You realize, like, the age of consent in Germany is 14.
What was that really dumb movie where like the
You
kids
can get
live
married
on an
at 13
island?
in Delaware.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like pornography. It changes from
Or Blue
Penn
Lagoon.
United.
How old were they in Blue Lagoon?
Older than she was in Pretty Baby.
Yes,
Okay.
Pretty Baby was pretty weird.
Pretty Baby was her first, wasn't it?
Well, isn't there that whole podcast about how fucked up all that was?
Probably.
Yeah, we're making it right now.
No. I believe there's specifically a podcast about how
Okay.
fucked up Pretty Baby was, but yes.
Other than the inappropriate nudity, guys, what else did you think?
I thought.
I loved it.
Oh, Jim loved it.
Okay, Jim.
Jim,
I thought Melanie Griffith's acting was absolutely atrocious through the entire movie. And
Yeah, she was
it
struggling with
it took me out of the
Which is
movie
why
every
they took
time.
her clothes off.
Every time she opened her mouth, I was just like, "What the fuck is this bullshit?"
I agree. I agree it was bad.
Also,
but I love the scene with her and Gene in the bed.
Yes, that one,
scene
that's
was
the best
amazing.
part. That's the best part.
That's
of
her best
part
scene.
of the movie. Yes.
Yeah.
Also, why was James Woods dubbed in every scene that he's in? Could
I
they
I
not know
noticed
how
they were
to?
looping it when he was outside, but it was all dubbed.
It certainly felt
No,
like
I
it.
don't think it was all dubbed, but that was definitely his voice. So he did his own.
It was,
dubbing.
yeah, he was doing his
line
own
readings.
ADR, but it certainly was like all of a sudden his voice was way clearer than everyone else's
Yeah.
most of the time.
There
he
were a
was
few
on
times like
screen.
that. Yeah.
He
And
was
it's-
probably not giving good line readings on location.
Or
I
they
want to
didn't mic
give
him
the
right or
floor back to
what.
Jim because he never starts and he wanted to start. He said, I liked it. So let's do Jim's corner first.
Sounds fair.
Sure. I really like Penn, and I think he did a good job here. It's just a fine movie. It's a 70s flick, so some people will be bored and some people will lose attention or whatever.
This
Right.
movie is the definition of better than the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
Like it is literally the definition of better than the sum
So
of its parts.
But
like
like Last Detail, it really is Gene Hackman who carries it. I mean, there's a
Absolutely.
bunch of-
Absolutely.
He was a hard anchor in
So
this
fucking
whole
good
thing.
in this.
Yeah.
But you've got a central character here who, just like all of these Sam Spade, stuff, like he has no idea what's going on, right? The whole time. And he's trying to figure
It's
it out.
very noir. It's
Very
very
it's-
noir.
It's
This is-
actually very
this is-
Chinatown in a lot of ways.
Yes, this is a
Yes.
noir, but it's the opposite of
Oh,
Last Detail, where they
goodbye.
know exactly what's going on and they don't want it to be happening.
Oh,
Right.
so the fact that I was spending this whole movie going, what the fuck is going on is not a flaw.
No.
It's a noir.
No, it's a-
it's,
it's a-
it's
it's
a
a
mystery.
feature,
It's a
not a bug.
mystery movie.
Right.
basically.
You're
It's
not a
like,
bug.
what's going on in The Big Sleep?
Oh God, who fucking
Oh,
You know, we
knows?
still
I
don't know. We have
defy
no idea
anybody.
to
That's an
this day what's
excellent
going to happen in that movie.
All right. Well, my
Just know it's
reaction was
good.
the opposite of Tad's in that I feel like The Last Detail was more than the sum of its parts. Where here I felt like it was exactly the sum of its parts, and it was like, it was not good, I thought, but it was very interesting. And to me, the fact that I wasn't enjoying it as a film gave me time to sort of analyze it and think, wow, 70s movies were so different.
Yes.
No, I mean, just the things they choose to focus on The things that they decide are important to show, the things they decide are not important to show. And the fact that there's no, in this movie in particular, to a point of it being a flaw, there is nothing underscoring any of the emotional like hits. There aren't any emotional hits.
I think
where he,
I can see
where
that.
he and Melanie Griffith's character leave Florida. And so it's like, okay, she's going to go with him, and they drive off. And the next scene is Hackman and his wife picking up on their argument from wherever.
Yeah,
Like there were a lot of.
I don't know. I think that
To be
part where he
continued.
breaks- that part where he breaks into the house and he like wipes out the glass and he pours himself the glass of wine.
Best scene.
Whoa,
Yeah.
man,
Well,
that's
one of the-
some fucking fantastic acting. And when he's
One
like,
of the best lines is,
if you
Harry
call
thinks
me
if you say
Harry
Harry
again,
one more time, I'm going to make you eat that
eat
cat.
that cat. That's right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's definitely a high
amount
point.
of,
But the-
the amount of pathos that he brings to that moment, which isn't like, I'm mad at you for fucking my wife. I'm mad at you for disrespecting me after you did it.
Yes.
Like it's
And-
not. I fucked somebody else when I was in Florida. Like, I know where we are in this situation, but you don't get to fucking stand here and hold that cat and be like, oh, Harry this, Harry that.
Yeah.
This was the
It's the part in Heat where he's like, you don't get to watch my fucking TV.
television. Yeah, you're right. There was some like I felt like some of the filmmaking was lazy in the sense of, we've all seen this noir setup where you know, you call the private eye, they come over, you tell them I thought this was one of the yeah, exactly. This was one of the weakest.
I need a
depictions of
gumshoe to
that kind
find
of
my
thing I've
daughter.
ever
She
seen.
ran off to Florida with some crazy guy. You know?
Right, like this was.
You didn't say
He
C in
finds her really quickly.
Well, actually, he doesn't, because I was watching the clock, and when he found her and got her home, he finds her quickly, but he gets her home about 2/3 of the way into the movie.
Well,
I'm
Right.
that's-
It's
you're making my
45
point.
minutes in, he finds her, and then
Well,
there's
I thought it
20
was-
minutes
there's a half
when
hour
they
left,
back-
and I'm
No,
going.
she
I'm
doesn't.
going,
She doesn't go home until she wants to go home. You notice that?
yes, very much so. And that was another thing where it's like
and
that
that threw me,
slackness.
though,
That
because
means that
I thought
basically
the
he
end was
failed
going to
his
be when he gets
assignment
her
to get her
home, but it's like
He
there's a
couldn't make her
whole
go home, and so he had to wait till her
movie.
to want to go.
Right, Jared. The movie actually doesn't even start until he gets her home. Last half hour of the
probably-
movie is the movie.
And I'll tell you-
Ironically, this movie probably should have been longer. Like, it probably the back
No.
half of it, the
The
back
front-
half of it.
Should have been shorter, and the back should have been longer, because when she's killed, that's where the mystery really begins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
then
has to
they
go
start
back to
unraveling.
Florida, and it's
I
too late. I spent an hour getting invested in her coming home to her mom. I don't know why, because she's dead now.
No.
But I think the
That's what- that's what I
back
thought
half of
makes
it.
this
I think the
whole
back
thing
half of
so
it
fucking
feels
interesting.
rushed.
Yes,
A little bit. Yeah. That's what
so make the
John's
back
saying.
end longer.
John's saying
the front
elongate
end
the back
shorter.
half. Short.
But I don't feel like the first half of it wastes your time. I feel like the first
Oh,
half
I
of it
do.
is really good noir. Like, I think the first half of it is very good. Like,
I agree with both of you.
Yeah.
I
I'm going to
think
throw a
it's
comparison out here. What did you think of this against the Long Goodbye?
I thought about it a lot.
I thought about that a lot.
But yeah, I know you thought about. Well, what did you? How did it compare to you?
Well, I mean, this
Yeah, they're
weirdly
both
was
great for different
tighter than
reasons.
the Altman one.
yeah. I thought the Albin one was a little more clear. This is kind of opaque.
No,
Yeah.
but
Agreed.
I feel like
Huh?
Altman is, you could trust Altman as a filmmaker more. He's a better filmmaker. Altman
Agreed.
sort of puts you in a trance.
Also,
Which is something. It's Arthur Penn we're talking about. This is Mr. Bonnie
Yeah.
and Clyde.
I
Along
think
Goodbye
I-
is a
I-
Chandler novel, right?
Yeah, but there's something about an Altman picture. He's so in control and knows exactly when he wants to show you, what he wants to show you, how he's going to show it to you, and when. And this movie was a little more conventional, you know, in just like, okay, this is just a movie.
I
Sort of.
felt, like I said, it was overly relaxed in making its points. Like
It was.
it was sort of
leisurely.
washing
well,
over
it
me.
feels like hanging out in the Gulf Coast in Florida. It
Maybe.
very much
Yeah,
feels
a little
like,
too much of that.
like
Maybe getting a little
you're
sun.
in the-
I was getting a little sun crazy.
But this kind of comes back to my point of how different movies are now compared to then. And that's, like I said, because I wasn't super engaged with the story, I was analyzing it on that level and going, man, it's like nowadays. First, I thought of Michael Bay, but even any movie, Spielberg, anybody, they use music, they use close-ups, they use
the music
camera
in this
moves.
movie. The music in this movie is fucking atrocious. It's
Really?
worse than the music in the last one.
Wow.
It doesn't do anything for the film, but nothing does anything for the film. They don't sell you any of the emotional moments of this movie. It's just like the camera's turned on and this thing happened.
I will
John,
say
what
that,
John
And then the
said.
camera's pointed over here and this thing happened.
Mhm.
And I mean, I understand restraint and I understand it was a different time, but this may err too much in that direction of just
well,
like, I
here
don't
was
care.
here was a positive for me. I liked the fight scene between him and the stepfather at the end.
Oh, when he comes out with the fucking shell in his hand. and he's
yes,
like,
dude.
"She's
So
in the
now-
mouth."
That was
The
So-
fight was crazy.
The fight was crazy, and also what I love about 70s, I mean, there's so many things to love about 70s movies, but this is one. When you get hit, you don't just bounce back up like everybody does in every
Yes.
fucking movie
You're
since
down
the
for a
90s,
while.
dude. You
Yeah.
were fucked up. Like there's a scene where
One of the really good things about the John Wick movies is like you have those moments where he's just laying on the floor, like, oh my fucking god, that
Yeah,
hurts
'cause
so
you
much.
wouldn't- like there's a where
Everyone
there
has
was
a plan until they get punched in the nose.
Right.
Yeah, there was a scene in this movie before that big fight where some what's happening anyway, someone goes down. I think Gene goes down and he doesn't get up right away. He's kind of stunned.
When James Woods hits him with the guitar and he
Yes,
goes over
yes.
the couch
That's
and then he
it.
gets up and he can't really and he sits on the coffee table and the coffee table
Yes.
collapses.
That's right.
And he goes,
I love that because that's what really would happen. In a movie today, he would have just bounced up, ran after James
well,
Woods.
and,
Yeah.
and,
You
and
know.
there's one even before that. It's when he tells her that he's taking her back and she starts running away from him and the dude over
yeah, and he
whoever
jumps
that
and kicks him.
well,
Yeah.
yeah,
The guy with the oar.
he swings the oar at him, and then Hackman does literally like a luchador thing around
Yeah.
that
Yeah, he
pole
does.
and just
Yeah.
fucking both feet straight in the chest, right into the dolphin pen.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That guy is never heard from again.
No, that guy's not coming back to
He was
pick a
done
fight.
after that. He didn't drown. We saw him kind of.
So
They,
I
they
like-
have a
That's
whole
about
they
it.
have a whole conversation where she's like my stepfather and blah blah
Yeah,
blah
yeah,
blah blah,
yeah.
you know, and it's
But
just
that's
like
what I'm saying.
that
like,
guy's slowly
I love the
crawling out
realism.
onto the dock trying to learn how to breathe again.
Right.
The realism in the action is a nice reality is good.
Also,
you know?
75 was a year for like seeing bodies in boats under the water with their eyes missing. Yeah.
I need 4 shots, editor.
Yeah, I know.
Sir, editor, I need 4 shots of the fish eating the dead body's eye.
Yeah, I know. It's
We
Three
spent
is
a
not
lot of
enough.
money.
I need
We
four.
spent a lot of money on the
That they got the
chicken
fish
that
to
we
eat
should
the
put on
eye.
the outside of this. Like,
We're using all that footage, man.
Right.
I will say
It's in
by
the
the
can.
end,
We're using it.
by the end of this movie, I actually do think
All that money's on the screen.
one of the best sequences in this movie, and actually I think just an amazing sequence for any film, is literally when the guy's underwater in the plane and he can't get out and Hackman's looking at him through the
Dude, that
thing.
I know the glass bottom of the boat.
Because
That
he's fucked up
was
too.
amazing.
That was fucked up.
And he's like, there's a reasonable, like, I could be that guy in that plane right now.
His arm is in a cast too. It's like
Yeah.
super pathetic.
Yeah.
Chris,
That
When he's
whole-
banging the
the-
cast on the window.
I know.
Like he's trying to break the window with his cast.
I
Right.
give that to the filmmaker, like the editing, the pacing, the reveal of that, everything was perfect.
Also, what a reveal to that. That was the moment we find out who the
It's
bad guy
him.
really was. And he's
Yeah.
under the water, running out of air.
Yeah,
with a
yeah.
fucking
Also,
cast.
That's also
clicking against
super
the-
North by Northwest too. You notice
Yeah.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was very
and
nice.
he's in North by Northwest.
Is
No
he?
The
way!
guy who dies. He's the
Oh, I didn't
police
know that.
captain.
He's
Yeah.
the police captain in North by Northwest. Wow.
That's
Also-
wonderful.
dude,
Captain that
A lot of
Cary
things.
Grant has to explain himself to.
Oh,
Also, dude,
wow.
Oh,
when,
that's great.
Hey,
what's her
before
name's-
we leave the death scene, that death scene behind, Chris or anybody, do we think maybe Jim Cameron saw this movie and was thinking about it when he made The Abyss?
Yes.
A little
Oh
bit.
hell yeah!
I thought of that scene.
Yeah. a little
I
bit.
also like very Jaws adjacent with the scuba tank
But
blowing
same
up.
year.
Oh
same
yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
How
and then the
about-
plane just disappears off of the pontoons and the pontoons
Really-
keep going.
Well, you know
Also,
what's weird
good-
is
what
that-
a crazy ass action scene for that
No.
ending.
That's
Really good
Obviously-
effects when her face gets taken out by the fucking her head.
I
by the
know. It's
boat.
like about.
Obviously, no CGI. They really fucked up like a boat and a.
They got a dummy out
plane.
there and just like with the.
They
They're
got
gonna
a
dummy
dummy
about
on
the plane, and they were just like, "Go."
But
That
no,
was
dude,
brutal.
they were making.
It
nice
was brutal because it was real. There was no special effects or miniatures or CGI. It was just like.
I know.
It's
They were
like-
making
it's
night
like
movies in
in,
Florida at the exact same time they were making Jaws up in was it Nantucket or Martha's
Yeah.
Vineyard?
Martha's
Martha's
Vineyard.
Vineyard.
Martha's Vineyard. So these guys were just it was that weird zeitgeist parallelism going on.
It's like
Very-
how it's like how in Event Horizon they used actual amputees when they made the
The hell
close
scene.
the video for the hell scene. Like
yeah.
it's like, let's make this as brutal as we fucking possibly can.
Right, right.
Like,
Well, do you guys think Hackman just does circles and slowly bleeds to death?
yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, he's better than anybody in
Every
this film
two.
like 5 times, and he's just
At both circles till it runs out of gas, but I think
And his wife is still waiting for him at the airport.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he's
pretty
he
much
doesn't-
after he
the thing is,
dies.
that's a 2
He
levels.
comes
Hackman,
back in the
Hackman, the
next
actor,
sequel.
is
He,
basically
he
running
comes
circles
back
around
in the
everybody this
sequel to
whole
what,
movie.
Jim?
He's basically
In the
wearing
sequel to
everybody out.
this
This is kind of like a
movie.
wrestler
Yeah.
thing. He's wearing everybody out, but him as a character also is just basically outsmarting everybody. But so it kind of works on 2 levels.
Up until he
Well,
doesn't.
That's part of the whole noir thing.
Well, he's
right?
Yeah.
smart. He's smart, but it's one of those stories where there's no way he can really know what's going on.
And you can't win.
Right.
There's
So-
no
The
winning.
guy
in
who
this.
finds, at the
Win.
end, he
Yes.
finds out. He's the
Excuse
one-
me, Jim. Though, you're kidding? There's no sequel, right?
No, there's no sequel.
Oh, yeah, no,
Just had to be sure.
No, there's night moves and there's midnight moves and there's day moves. It's kind of like the
Yeah,
Linklater.
it is. It's
Yeah.
it's got Zoe Deschanel.
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
really adorable.
It's just
really.
2 hours of
there's-
Hackman's dead body in the boat
Yeah,
going around
There's
in
night.
circles.
There's
They're
night shift.
remaking
I
it
think we
with
did that one.
with Robert Pattinson.
Spoiler
right now.
alert.
Like,
I,
I'd watch that.
it's called The Night Moves.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
great
The
fucking
night
noir
moves.
movie.
It's
Okay, this is
not
probably the clip. You know that, right?
Actually, there is
Also,
actually,
hold on.
yeah, sure.
Sorry. I really hate the fact that he says night moves twice in this, and it's KNIGHT.
yeah, it is.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, fuck you.
How did I
Fuck
miss
you.
this?
There is.
I like that
There's
scene.
actually.
Context.
It's
That
a
was the
great-
whole joke.
it's a
That was
great
the weirdly enough.
scene.
That was,
Oh, no, the chess game,
that,
Yeah,
the name
that's
came from the
Three
chess move.
night
Yeah.
moves.
motherfucker.
Why'd they
I
put
think-
that?
I
Why did they
think
take the
that,
K out? Why do you think they did that?
I don't know why they
Because
did
they
that.
originally wanted to call it, I swear to Christ, the Dark Tower.
Yeah.
Ugh.
What?
Which
hitting
is
my
the,
head in the
but that's the
microphone
name. That's the name of the chess move.
Right. The Dark Tower. Yeah.
Oh.
I think
Fuck.
I think this is a good fucking noir movie. I think that this movie,
Bad metaphor.
what I think this movie does really, really well is it confounds your expectation as often as it possibly can. So you get the opening bit. It's like you said, it's a movie we've seen a million times before, mostly in black and white in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Right?
Mhm.
This is the job. Go find this girl.
Yeah.
Find the girl pretty fucking quickly. I actually think the movie gets better when he gets to Key West.
Yes.
Tone
It does.
changes. You get these
It gets in high gear.
you get these really great scenes where you got actors acting and you
The
can
scenes with him and Paula are fucking fantastic.
really, really fucking good, right? But and you
When
can see
she's
the
chopping,
ground-
when she's
the
chopping the
hot
vegetables.
the ground is kind of shifting under Hackman's feet. Like, okay, I don't really know what I got myself into. And then at the same time, you get like you haven't even mentioned the weird as fuck scene where like he's in their house and they're like dancing.
Oh, so
Yeah.
I was saving
After someone's
that.
dead.
Yeah,
Right
I was
after the
saving-
body. Yeah.
weird.
That is the best scene in this movie.
it's
by
it's David Lynch.
far. Yes.
It's Lynchian
Yes.
almost.
This
You're
is
right.
absolute that is you can very much tell how much Lynch steals from other people because he
That is-
definitely saw that
No.
at one point. It was like, what if I just had a dwarf who just weirdly dances all the time?
While
So
this film was
many-
being made,
So
and
the
it came
Key
out,
West,
he was
like
working
the-
on
the
Eraserhead.
movie-
Yeah, he's working on
Right.
Razorhead.
It
Yeah.
came out in '77, so yeah, he was actually. It took 3 years to make it, so he saw this movie.
Yeah,
movie-
he
the
absolutely
movie
he saw this
shifts
movie like
gears.
7 times.
Yeah,
The movie shifts gears in Key West, I think, got much more interesting for me. And then back to LA, where it's almost like you get these sort of perfunctory, like you think things are wrapping up, but then suddenly he's back in Key West again,
Mm-hmm.
goes over here.
right.
And I don't know. I agree with everything you guys have said. Like it's weird, like the music cue's not great. I think they're as bad
I
as
didn't even notice it myself.
I think they were as bad as
the music's
last detail.
bad. Music's
Hackman is
bad.
a fucking movie star in this movie. Like
Mhm.
the charisma,
His hair is not, but he is. Yes.
the charisma that guy has.
Well, it was the 70s, man.
little thing.
I know.
If
I
he
know.
loaned
Everyone
his
had a
hand to
perm.
Another person.
Even
And,
Hackman kind of had a comb over kind of thing going.
And again, that you get this bleak as fuck ending where like just at the point where he started to figure everything out, he gets shot in the leg and bleeds to death on a boat going in circles.
Because he
Again-
can't reach
again.
because he can't reach the control with
Also,
the
See,
yeah,
and
fucking-
there's
with
and there's the
this-
realism again.
hold on, stop.
In a movie nowadays, he still would have limped over and been able to
No,
drive.
stop,
the
stop,
boat.
stop, stop, stop. Do you think he died at the end of the film?
Yes.
We
Seems
already
like
asked that.
No,
Keep
That
going.
boat just
I
goes
actually,
around
I
in
actually say no.
circles
I think
forever.
I think he bleeds to death and it goes out and goes around in circles.
Yeah,
I
until
think
it
he
runs
actually
out
was
of
able to get
gas.
the radio and actually get help. I actually think he lived.
Well, then that's
We'll
a good
never
movie.
know.
That's a good movie. 'cause
We
you
have
can
no
make up your own
evidence.
mind.
Never
Both of those
know.
are
That's
both of
your
those
movie,
answers. Both of those
Scott.
answers are good. And you know what? They looked at that and said, "What if we just don't give you an answer? You get to
Exactly.
pick whatever choice."
Right.
You want."
That's
you
a
get to
good
pick
movie.
one,
That's
which
what I'm
is
saying about it being
essentially-
better than some of its
It was
parts.
essentially 70s and something they would never have done if they had made this movie in any other decade.
That's
I don't
right.
think that's
Right.
true. I don't think that's true. I think if you did this,
Well,
if you did
60s
this
in
in the
France.
early 90s, if you
No.
did this in the early 90s,
Early
in-
2000s as well. They would have.
yeah,
this, I think.
there is a point. Yeah, early 2000s
All right.
when
No
you did.
decade prior to the 70s.
What's the
Oh,
movie?
Jim.
Yeah,
The
maybe.
60s.
Jim, you saw von Stroheim's Greed, right?
Yeah,
Same ending, right?
it is actually going in circles.
he's chained to a dead man in hell at the end of that
But
film.
it's
So every decade has its down
Yes,
endings,
that's what I'm saying. That's what
but
I'm
they're
saying.
rare.
Yeah.
But the 70s was like,
It was
A lot.
perpetual. It was
A lot.
required.
Expected. It was part of the
it
whole
was
fun.
the law.
It was the
It was
law.
the law, exactly.
no one gets what they want and the
Versus
protagonist is
compound.
probably going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
love his struggle to get to the controls.
well, and that feeds so
And then he
far.
fails. is
that
what
And he
feeds-
fails.
Yeah.
Again, a movie today, he would have been able to hobble
Yeah.
over even with
Would have
it.
showed it.
That
Yeah.
that
But-
that,
and it is symbolic of his character throughout the film. He has no control.
No
MCU.
control.
He's trying to regain control, and he's never had it.
And
I mean,
he's
the
good
reality
at
is-
it. He's good at trying. He's
Other than the fact that he finds
He's
the
smart.
girl that quickly, this movie would make it like he's not that great a detective because things
Absolutely.
Oh,
No,
he-
like I said, the girl.
well,
He
he's
got
trying to
it. He
divest
wanted to go
himself.
home.
He's
He
trying to
failed his
divest
mission,
himself.
basically.
But I like also that he doesn't. It's not one of those movies where he's such a slick, cool detective that he does things that are illegal and you don't know about.
he's
It's
more-
very much how
he's
anyone
more
else would
Sam
track someone
Spade.
down. It's all public knowledge. It's all like just asking straightforward questions.
The only illegal thing he
Doesn't-
does is break into the house.
He even says, "I don't think I should be in this business."
Actually,
No.
Tad,
Don't forget, he did-
because the door is open.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, right, yeah.
He goes to pick the lock, and he's like, "I better check it
Uh,
first."
Yeah. This is Arthur Penn. He did
Still
Mickey,
technically
he did
breaks,
Mickey
but-
1. Remember the end of
It's
Mickey
not
1? He
breaking
did
in.
Bonnie and Clyde. Remember how that ended? He doesn't let his people go to the end of the film. It doesn't.
You know,
The best-
another
the
thing
Well,
is-
I gotta say, hold on.
Hackman
I
was in
gotta
Bonnie
say
and
that
Clyde, too.
he was kind of hobbled by real life there because they also didn't survive to the
This
end.
is all.
Yeah, exactly
That's
right. Well, that's true. It's like, and it's great because he made you really pull for Bonnie and Clyde. The film.
Oh, I never did.
Oh,
That's one of those.
Tarantino should remake that where they live at the end.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, I'm writing that
And then
down
they
on time code
throw
right
it
now.
out.
That's exactly what you should do.
You have to cut that out. That has to. That can't
No,
be
he
in
has to
the-
stand there and do his personal email.
I'm going to
and tell
say
him-
it again.
Right, you have to cut it out and send it to Tarantino.
Yeah, exactly right. That's what we have to do. I said, dude, you're gonna make it so the Manson murders didn't happen. Let's do this. Bounty and
Yes.
Clyde live and become
It's that
governor
line
of
in
Texas, right?
Slapshot. They're folk heroes. They're criminals.
Your Bob folk heroes start out as criminals.
I want to
Right.
kill Hitler, and I'm going to save Bonnie and
All
Clyde.
right, all right.
You have Serge Gainsbourg.
Jim's corner.
No,
We started with
He
Serge
started it.
Okay.
Okay, I got something.
You got John's corner.
What I was already
John's
talking about how different this is and how 70s movies are so different. I just have one more observation on that point, which is Hackman, in all his thinning hair and fuzzy sideburns glory, he is a sexual being in this movie. He not only has sex scenes, but we linger on him like in the bed with the women, and he's sort of
That scene was supposed to be
Yes.
5 minutes longer.
Well, he does. He
I
at one
love
point he has
the
his
hair
shirt.
and zits on his back.
Literally, the scene with him and Paula was 5 minutes longer.
Well, you could tell
And they
Tag,
cut it down,
because
you
those
mean?
cuts were so bad of her like reacting to him.
Mhm,
You had to, you could. Oh, that makes so much sense because I was like, why is that so sloppy? She's
mhm.
literally they'll cut to her while she's in mid like.
Yeah, it was.
No,
She was like, "What the fuck?"
Her
Right?
sex scene
Yeah.
was not.
So
that
they cut
comfortable
out
for
her
You get-
intro into that.
They cut out. Apparently it was much more like emotional between the two of them,
Yeah.
and it was considerably longer
Oh, I wish
and
they would have left that in.
Yeah.
more intimate. Like
I really wish they would have left that in.
like
Well,
that
I like
was
the
a
fact-
crazy thing to read about. Is it's
But yeah,
like
look
oh
behind
yeah
Chris. behind Chris is sexy Hackman with the shirt open.
There he is. Looks pretty
But
good.
also, this
Got the
guy-
stash.
Well, mind you,
I like the
Jennifer
fact
Warren, I
that
thought
Hackman,
in that scene where she finally disrobed, I thought she looked really uncomfortable. I don't think she was really in her skin in that.
She said it was one of the most intimate things she's ever done.
Yeah, well, it may be, but it didn't come off that way.
I
thought
just
she
think it was
didn't-
cool that you got Hackman like leading guy. Like this guy's probably been to a gym twice in the last year.
I don't know if he has actually.
He goes
was
to a lot of-
He's doing
70s.
16-ounce curls this entire
Also, dude,
time.
that guy was running around in every scene in the French Connection, so he's probably in good shape.
It was the 70s. Elliot Gould was a sex symbol.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't even go there,
God.
man.
Hey, look, man, I'm kind of
Brad Pitt ruined everything.
Oh my god! All right. It is
But-
so.
But I mean, can you imagine? There is no equivalent for a scene like that. I mean, he was sort of rubbing his chest and talking about his childhood and his dreams and shit. It's like he really was sort of having his body in this movie. You know what I mean?
The part where they're back in their house and they have the fondue set up, and
Yeah.
it's like,
Oh, I love that fondue set.
and he's got his foot on her breast for the
Yeah.
entire thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
I
both
love that.
backwards in the bed to each
But
other.
that's such a good.
Well, see,
like,
and that was real because she sits
that's
up
such
and
a
her
good. These
shirt's
two
off.
people love each other.
Right.
Like,
And they're comfortable around each other.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
like you can do your weird fondue thing
Man,
with
And
your
you
foot
can
on-
and you can
Right.
pop a feel with your foot.
Right.
Also, I may
So
sound like
try to picture any movie now, you know, with Tom Cruise or anybody like that. I mean, not just the
Well,
fondue.
Tom
but-
Cruise would never find an actress he could
Picture
be
any
that
movie
far
now
up
with
on
fondue
that
fly.
could.
I just miss fondue. That was so much fun. In the 70s. It was
Christ.
so-
Another reason 70s movies are
I
superior.
know you dip the
More
broccoli in
fondue.
there or like the piece
Shag
of
carpets.
Scott, you can come.
Shed
You can,
carpets and
You
melted.
can go to
I
Star.
know it's so
my-
good.
Doesn't
But
even
never
make
the
it
twain
out.
shall meet.
Uh-huh.
Don't
Scott,
split.
Steakhouse.
Scott, you can come to my apartment and you can snort the
Also-
cocaine out of my carpet. It's fine. Like,
Okay,
it's-
thank you. Yeah, you have the deep pile of shag carpet with all the cocaine like I had when I was
Yeah.
a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best.
Persian carpet that he was
You
wearing.
could draw
Right.
you could draw the map of Ukraine from
Oh.
Art of War in my carpet. You could
Exactly.
absolutely do that.
All right,
Like,
stop. Let's do that. Let's do
Hold on.
that. Wait, Jim.
Jim.
I was reading about a German general I'd never heard of before in the Wehrmacht, and he fought a battle
Weird.
that he won in Zaporizhia, which is also now in the news.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like
I know.
all of these places in Ukraine that Russia is invading were all like major battle scenes. You know?
Oh yeah, the opening scene of Captain America, the first Avenger, the first Captain America movie. He's reading a newspaper. It says Nazis take Zitomir. There was a huge
Yeah.
battle 3 months ago in Zitomir.
Yeah.
It's weird. All right, thumbs time. Thumbs time. It was pretty good, man. It was not as compelling as the last one, but it was good.
I like them both. Good choices,
They
Chris.
they,
Yep.